We got ourselves a regular old thunderstorm going on right now. But that's beside the point. I want to talk about the rapture on September the 23rd and the 24th, 2025, in just a few days' time. Today's the 19th of September. We got all these people, most of them white women, I'd say about 70% of them white women, on YouTube making videos about the rapture. They're all praising their prophet, who is a black man in South Africa. And you got all these blonde white women talking about this black South African guy that they reckon is a prophet of God. And there's so many, and they reckon that he reckons that the rapture is on the 23rd and the 24th of September 2025. I have a few really major points to make about this. The first one is that lately, in the last 4 or 5 days, I've been getting so many videos in my YouTube feed. Like, YouTube has just been putting into my feed, as they call it. Even the phraseology feed reminds me of the phrase goy slop. Feed, goy slop. But you know, you go to YouTube and there's just this wall of videos and you can scroll through it and it just keeps loading and loading and you get more and more videos. That's called the feed. And it tries to algorithmically match the feed for each individual person, if you're logged in, to what it thinks you're interested in. But I'm not particularly interested in the rapture, and YouTube just keeps feeding me the rapture. I did research it about a week ago, but that was it. And I'm just getting fed all of this rapture stuff. And I don't just think that that's YouTube, the algorithm operating honestly. I think that a lot of people now are being, like recently, I think the rapture videos are being artificially promoted. I think the rapture videos are being pushed tremendously. All right? Like, there's just a plethora of them. There's hundreds of them, all in the last few weeks or months. All these people, some men, but mostly women, talking about the rapture on September 23, September 24. And they're all like sort of originating their concept to this black guy in South Africa. There's even one woman here, and she says in her title, "Deception about being sponsored by YouTube?" in her rapture confirmation video. So she starts off by saying that she's not sponsored by YouTube. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not the accusation. The accusation is that YouTube is artificially, algorithmically promoting Rapture 23, 24 September videos. That's the accusation. Not that they're promoting her in particular, but that tons, hundreds, thousands of Rapture videos are just being promoted. Anyone who does one, positive towards the idea, gets promoted. We got these little channels like hers. You know, you got channels with 300 subscribers and they got 29,000 views in 4 days on their Rapture video, shit like that. If you have a small channel with like 10 subscribers, if you want to get a lot of views on your channel, all you got to do right now is do a video proclaiming that September 23rd is the rapture. And extra bonus points, you got to say that that black South African guy is a prophet of God. If you do those two things, that formula, you'll get like at least 7,000 views on your video. I won't get views on my video because YouTube hates me and I'm already shadow banned. But in addition to that, I'm critical of the idea of the rapture being on the September the 23rd. I'm critical of the idea of that black guy in South Africa being a prophet of God. And I'm putting forward the notion that YouTube is artificially promoting these rapture videos. So we got all these women, like we got, on the screen in front of me here, I've got this woman called like Annette Derp or something, Annette DP. And I read that as Derp, Annette Derp. She's like a Nordic woman with blonde hair, and You know, she's pronouncing W as V or something. Hello, I'm risking my reputation by making my first video. So she's making her first video about how she reckons the rapture is on the 23rd. So there's thousands of people out there, most of them women, just like her, making these videos. And they're all saying, oh, the black guy in South Africa, he said so, and he's a prophet of God. I just want to point out something. I want to point out something about this white women exaltation of black men being godly. I just want to point out something about that. Two things. First of all, YouTube is owned by the devil and YouTube is promoting rapture videos. That's the first point. YouTube is owned by the devil and YouTube is promoting rapture videos. It's not God promoting rapture videos, it's the devil promoting rapture videos. YouTube is owned by the devil. YouTube's evil. It's not godly. And YouTube's promoting rapture videos. That's the first clue. The second clue is that so the second clue is that Hollywood is evil. Clearly Hollywood is evil. Where have we seen a black man as God promoted before? In Hollywood movies. Morgan Freeman is the icon, the idol that you must worship in Hollywood lore of the image of God. The image of God, according to Hollywood, is Morgan Freeman, a black man. What's another image of God that's a black man that is promoted by the worldwide beast system, the New World Order, the devil's system? It's Nelson Mandela. White women absolutely love Nelson Mandela and will not hear a bad word, a critical word said about Nelson Mandela. In discussions with various people, I just recall the most angry that one of my aunties had ever gotten at me was when I criticized Nelson Mandela in front of her. She got genuinely angry at me for that. I could say all sorts of things in front of her, but if I criticize Nelson Mandela, ooh. The truth is Nelson Mandela is a communist terrorist who bombed white people and killed white people. That's the truth about Nelson Mandela. This communist black terrorist is promoted by the worldwide beast system and the Hollywood system to make you, and particularly white women, think that Nelson Mandela is God. Nelson Mandela is a black South African man. So we have white women like this Annette Derp here. I'm making my first video. It's video, not video, but anyways, with her Scandinavian accent and her blonde hair. I'm making my first video, and it's all about how there's a South African black man who's a prophet of God, and he's telling us that the rapture is going to be on September 23 and 24. Hollywood is owned by the devil. Hollywood promotes a black man as like an icon imagery of God. YouTube is owned by the devil. YouTube is promoting rapture videos. All these tens of thousands of people, most of them white women, they're all like exalting the black man from South Africa that's the prophet of God that's telling them that September the 23rd is the rapture. I personally know how the spirit world communicates because I've been subjected to it so much over the last 6 years. And unfortunately, we've got so many of these white women going onto YouTube and going, and then I looked at my phone and then it said 444 and I was so amazed and I screenshotted my phone and I wrote it in my Rapture diary because it said 444 on the 4th of September. And then I was asleep and then a voice woke me up and said my name. And actually that voice wakes me up and says my name all the time. So she's getting angel numbers on her phone and she doesn't realize that that's New Age occult from the devil. It's not from God. That's not how God communicates. That's literally numerology. Literally numerology. This is a different woman. This is not Annette Derp. This is a woman in America. She's literally unironically citing angel numbers as evidence that God is communicating to her. Angel numbers, I said to her, I wrote a comment to her, I said, yeah, you're being communicated to by a deity. It's just that you've got the wrong deity. That's the devil. The devil communicates through angel numbers. Very rarely, God can communicate through anything, but very rarely will God communicate through numbers. Numerology, numbers, it's all angel numbers, it's all new age, it's all occult, it's all the devil trying to capture your attention and lead you into worship of him. Oh, my phone said 444. That means the rapture's going to happen. There was another lady in America with Botox. Her face was, I take a glance at how they look. Very often they look quite strange. This woman had a Botox appearance, and I said to her, did you have Vax-Max-induced Bell's palsy, or have you had Botox? Because like her face was frozen. She looked at a glance, she looked like one of them American actresses. I'm not being pretty clear, am I? Heather Locklear. She looked a bit like Heather Locklear, but only a bit. But her face was like frozen, and I think it was Botox, or I think it was like Bell's palsy from the vax. So she's going, my husband and I bought motorbikes 7 years ago, and we ride them 7,000 miles a year. And this year they both ticked over to 7,000 miles. And look at the odometer on my husband's motorbike. It says 7,777. And mine says 7,100. And today's the 7th of September, and the day was the 7th of September. What's that got to do with September 23 and September 24? Nothing. Nothing. They're all like, oh, God, give me a sign. I prayed to God, give me a sign. And then all of our odometers on our motorbikes, which we bought 7 years ago and ride 7,000 miles a year, they all said 77,777. All this kind of stuff. And I'm like, don't you know that you're citing angel numbers? And don't you know that those are from the New Age? They're not from God? Don't you know? Holy moly. We've got all of these Christians engaging in occult practices unironically, and they don't have the slightest effing clue that that's what they're doing. All right, so listen, I heard one guy say, well, when someone makes a rapture prophecy video, you shouldn't criticize them, because if it's true, then it's the word of God, and you're blaspheming by criticizing the word of God. And if it's not true, well, it could be true one day, because it says so in the Bible that it's going to happen one day. I've heard from God. God's given me really precise education on questions that I've had, which have answered my question perfectly. None of this hinty number crap, but like a genuine answer that really answers a question. And what these rapture video people are showing is not that. There's nothing genuine about it. If anything, it's from the devil, and that's it. Yeah, what I was going to say is, so one guy said you shouldn't criticize all of these rapture confirmation videos. To that I say, I personally haven't heard anything from God about the rapture at all in my entire life, and I certainly haven't heard anything from God about September, let alone September 23 or September 24. Another thing I'd like to note is that Hollywood movies, you probably don't realize this, there's a documentary on it, which is how I learned about it years ago. There's a documentary out there highlighting just how many times Hollywood movies, all sorts of different Hollywood movies, like Donnie Darko, for example, that's just one of them, how many times they highlight, I'm pretty sure it was September 23. Excuse me. September 23, Hollywood movies. Hollywood movies are continuously highlighting September 23, according to this one amateur-made documentary that I watched. I don't mean that in a bad way. That's a mark of authenticity, really. A sign of authenticity. If someone's put all of these clips together and you're like, oh yeah, all these Hollywood movies, they've all got 9/23 in them. They've all got September 23 in them. They've all, there'll be a clock in a Hollywood movie and it'll say 9 and 23, or I don't know, some kind of like digital readout or something. Just endless Hollywood movies saying 9/23. So then, who wants you to focus on 9/23 in an occult, gestalt, communication sense, Hollywood movies are communicating to you 923. You consciously have probably never noticed it, but your subconscious sees everything and stores everything. And if you've seen Hollywood movies, you've seen 923, even if you don't consciously realize it. Go and watch that documentary and you'll see what I mean, if you can be bothered. Because it doesn't really matter, because it's actually not from God. The 923 in Hollywood movies is Hollywood. Hollywood is owned by the devil. So therefore the devil is telling you something through Hollywood movies. So if the devil's telling you 923 through Hollywood movies, and if all of these women are getting on their exaltation worship altar of the black man in South Africa who says that the rapture's on September 23, and then they don't know it, but all of these Hollywood movies contain 923. So what's the common denominator there? It's the devil. Devil owns YouTube, devil owns Hollywood. Hollywood movies are promoting 923. Hollywood movies are promoting the black man that's the image of God, or promoting Nelson Mandela as like this godly, saintly figure, this prophet of God sort of thing. Literally when they show God, it's Morgan Freeman dressed up in white in a cloudy white setting that's supposed to represent heaven. According to Hollywood, God is Morgan Freeman. Now we got all these women in Scandinavia. I'm making my first video. I think the rapture's on September 23. This black man in South Africa said so. Forgive me for being cynical. Forgive me for being critical. I smell a rat. I smell a rat. Is anyone else noticing what I'm noticing? Like the sheer obviousness of the promotion of Rapture videos on YouTube? The sheer obviousness of the promotion in the beast system generally of a black South African man as a saintly figure, the sheer obviousness of Hollywood promoting Morgan Freeman as God, and the not so obvious thing, but once you see it, you can't unsee it, of Hollywood movies promoting 9/23, September 23. Why? Why is Hollywood promoting September 23? It's because the devil wants you to think about it. Like I said, God hasn't shown up in my life talking about any of this stuff. Nothing. Nothing at all. So the other thing we have to consider, and I've been asking I've screenshotted like 100 videos. I haven't watched them all. I've just screenshotted the thumbnail of them, of people on YouTube in the last few days saying rapture confirmation, rapture confirmation, rapture confirmation. All these rapture confirmations showing up in my feed. You understand it's a promotion. It's a promotion of the rapture on September 23. It's a promotion. It's a YouTube promotion. All of these people making these videos, I'm asking them, when I do comment on their channels, I'm asking them, how many CV19 vaxxers did you take? Did you take the CV19 vax? Don't forget that during the lockdowns, all of the 5G towers were erected when everyone else was forced to stay in their homes. You must all stay in your homes because it's dangerous out there because of the plague. Oh, but by the way, all of our thousands of construction workers are going to go out and erect all of the 5G towers during the plague. It's really dangerous out there. It's too dangerous for you to be outside, but our construction workers, they can go to your school, which is shut down, with no kids and no teachers and no parents in it, and they can build 5G towers in your school. It's not unsafe for them. They're not affected by the plague. They're being paid good money to put up all these towers when you're all stuck inside your houses. Do you smell a rat? Do you smell a rat? So there's a theory that the combination of 5G tower transmissions and the microchips allegedly in the vax, the COVID vax, and the graphene oxide and so on, there's a theory that influences people, and that there's a concept of Borg hive mind influence, that, for example, moods or themes or concepts can be promoted to many millions of people through the 5G towers and the alleged microchips in COVID vaxxers. If so, that could explain why suddenly we've got a whole truckload of people all making videos about Rapture September 23. Maybe they've been influenced by this concept of the Borg hive mind. In other words, some nerd working for the New World Order somewhere in a control room types into a text box on a computer terminal, think about the rapture on September 23rd, and hits enter, and then that propagates that concept into the minds of billions of people who took the COVID vaccine and are within striking range of a 5G tower. They all start thinking about that one concept, and then of course many tens of thousands of them start making YouTube videos about that same concept. And then we have a woman here making her first video, her first YouTube video, and she's going, oh no, YouTube's not sponsoring me. I'm not sponsored by YouTube. I don't make any money. Like, she's sort of, blonde people are not dumb, but she's like sounding like Zoolander. She's like, Zoolander he's not a blonde and he's not a woman, but he's like the epitome of a dumb blonde, Zoolander, Derek Zoolander. She sounds like Derek Zoolander. Nobody ever said that YouTube was sponsoring you Derek Zoolander. She's like Derek Zoolander in the scene at the petrol Bowser. Exactly the same kind of, like, she's so dumb, she doesn't even get what the criticism is. The criticism is that it's not that she's being sponsored. She goes, I'm not being paid any money by YouTube. That's not the criticism. It's not that they're being like secretly paid money by YouTube or something like that. It's just that any Rapture video is being promoted right now. Any video that's positive to the notion of September 23 Rapture is being promoted right now. And by the way, I was joking before, I don't actually want you to make a video that's positive to September 23 Rapture. I was just joking that if you want to get your channel promoted, now's the time, because the algorithm is promoting any video that's positive to September 23 Rapture as a concept. You could have one subscriber and make a video on that, and in the next few days you'll have 7,000 views on your little channel that had one subscriber. I've documented it. There's literally channels there with 300 subscribers that have 29,000 views in the space of about 4 days on their Rapture video. This is called algorithmic promotion. YouTube is promoting these videos about Rapture September 23. Again, the devil's advocates will jump in and go, oh, Froggy, you don't know how it works. You're watching a lot of Rapture videos, and that's why YouTube is serving you Rapture videos. I know all about it. You don't know shit about fuck all. What it is it's algorithmic promotion of a certain topic. I've seen it before, strangely enough, with van life. Famously, a few years ago, van life got massively promoted by YouTube. Any video to do with van life got massively promoted. Some current YouTube stars got their start with van life, such as Hannah Lee Duggan. She started with van life. There was one Asian girl going around and she had like a pet lizard or a pet python and a van, and she opened her channel, made one video, and in the space of less than a week, she had 50,000 subscribers. Oh, Froggy, you're just interested in van life and you're watching van life, and that's why YouTube's serving it to you in your feed. Nah. Listen to me. When YouTube wants you to see something, they promote it. 6 years ago, it was van life, and for whatever reason, right now, it's the Rapture. YouTube is promoting the Rapture. And all of the tenets that go along with it. It's the Rapture, it's September 23, it's the Morgan Freeman, Nelson Mandela, South African black man, prophet, godly figure, communicating God's will to you. This is what YouTube and Hollywood, this is what YouTube's promoting to you now. This is what Hollywood has been promoting to you for more than 20 years with Morgan Freeman, but also with Nelson Mandela. The two characters are rather interchangeable in the psyche of the average white Western woman. Oh, black man, oh, worship. He's literally the voice of God. It's amazing what the devil can do. The devil can get untold millions of white women to worship a communist terrorist who bombed white people and killed them in South Africa. That's Nelson Mandela. And all these people, particularly white women, are worshipping Nelson Mandela. Worshipping Nelson Mandela. And Nelson Mandela and Morgan Freeman are proxies for this latest conglomeration of black South African man worship that the white women are kind of programmed to engage in, propagandized to engage in this exaltation of this saintly, godly, godlike black man from South Africa that has the word of God. I smell a rat. I don't think that I'm being disrespectful to God in critiquing this occurrence of all of these people appearing on YouTube all at once, most of them with 200 subscribers on their little tiny channel, and they make one Rapture video and bam, it's got 50,000 views in a week. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen unless YouTube wants it to happen. And if YouTube wants it to happen, it's going to happen. YouTube promotes what they want to promote. So for some reason, YouTube really wants everybody to think about Rapture 23, September. Compare and contrast that with God and the communications of God that are subtle and sublime, but obvious and profound and direct. And communicate fully. They're not hinting and going, ooh, you saw 444 on your phone. That means the Rapture's September 23. Ooh, you saw 7,777 on your husband's motorbike's odometer yesterday. That means the Rapture's on September 23. Hee hee hee, ha ha ha. God doesn't work like that. God is direct. God is direct. God takes a thing that you're wondering about, if you pray about it and ask a question, and then gives you an exact equivalent of that answers your question with the truth, like the whole truth, a complete explanation. God's not all like, oh, motorbike odometer 777, ooh. That's the devil. If anything, that's how the devil communicates. Numerology, angel numbers, it's the devil, it's the occult, it's New Age. I'm quite knowledgeable on all of these topics after 6 years of exposure to them. And I've been deceived in the past, and then I've come through the deception and I've survived it. And I know the difference between the counterfeit and the genuine. And it's sad, but I see so many people, particularly white women in the United States of America, particularly, they're just fully engaging in New Age, occult, concepts like angel numbers. Oh, my phone said 444. That means the Rapture's on September 23. I screenshotted it and I put it in my Rapture journal. I'm like, I wrote in the comments, lady, you're propagandized. Have you heard of angel numbers? Have you heard of numerology? Do you know how the devil communicates? It's through things like what you've just cited in your video. You're unironically citing angel numbers as communication from God when it's already known to be the way that the devil communicates. God doesn't very often communicate through numbers, I said to her. So, I mean, these women, they're just going to delete my comment. That's why I screenshotted it. They're just going to delete my comment and just enjoy the praise, basking in the praise of hundreds and thousands of people leaving comments collectively on their videos going, oh, you're so spiritual. Oh, you're so wonderful. Oh, I feel it too. Oh, I'm sick of things. I want to be raptured too. Another thing is that the New World Order's taken over and we're living in some kind of draconian 1984, George Orwell, Brave New World, Aldous Huxley, pharmacologically altered situation where you're a slave and you should not be happy, but you're happy in situations where you should not be happy because you've been manipulated so very much by sublime intelligence that understands human psychology better than any human. That's the devil. That's the situation on the world, on the earth right now. It's a very unhappy situation, and there's a lot of people that have this this motivation to desire a rapture because it would mean freedom from illness, freedom from tyranny, freedom from the devil, freedom from the devil. So a lot of people are desiring of a rapture, but so that's a huge, con artists like the devil need people to have an unmet need. And right now, so many billions of people have an unmet need to escape the tyranny that they're living under, that they can't bring themselves to consciously acknowledge, but that subconsciously they're all aware that they're living as highly manipulated slaves. And so, of course, they want to escape. Of course, they have this unmet need to escape the tyranny. And I think that this unmet need is being taken advantage of by Hollywood, by YouTube, by the algorithm, by the Hollywood movies promoting Morgan Freeman and Nelson Mandela as like saints and this kind of thing. I mean, on the topic of saintly black guys, what was that? Something Junior or something? That one in America in the 60s? That black guy in America, the one that said, "I have a dream," like he's held up, he's exalted as this godly black man. If you look into that guy's background, he was sleeping with prostitutes all the time, like he was just a bad person. So, like this meme of like white people, particularly white women, worshipping the saintly black man, who's really like a communist terrorist from South Africa, like Nelson Mandela.